It is wonderful that we finally have the opportunity for researchers and policymakers to be together and to get to know each other and to discuss our dilemmas and our perspective on things. That is something we should have done earlier and that we should continue to do. Because research has great opportunities to contribute to development, but then we have to find each other and we have to know each other. So it's about research in development rather than just research for development. In the session, the same theme of research in development rather than research for development also came back. Innovation, if innovations want to make sense, if you want to have innovations that have a developmental impact, you have to innovate within a certain context, taking into account the various stakeholders that play a role. The private sector, farmers who are part of the private sector, policymakers, knowledge institutes and civil society. Within that context and seeing innovation as a process rather than just an activity or just an outcome, that means engaging in innovation in development rather than just innovation for development. Research in development means that policymakers, practitioners and researchers, including the private sector, together formulate the research questions, together give inspiration to what will be researched, walk together so that researchers know what is the reality of the various stakeholders, what are their interests, what do they want out of a certain process, and so that the language can be comparable because they're working on the same issues together. So coming together as researchers, practitioners and policymakers means that the relevance of the research gets increased because you already have that partnership that is so important to make sure that there's research uptake. The biggest challenge between having interaction between researchers and policy makers is the incentives. The incentives differ. Policymakers, their incentive is to be able to guarantee development results and spend money to get those development results. Researchers have the incentive to have as many publications in A-rated journals. These incentives differ, so the communality, the common ground sometimes also can't be found. The question for us is how to create those incentives to make sure that that collaboration, that interaction and that co-creation is indeed rewarded. You can make sure that research is more policy relevant by getting researchers and policy makers together to create financing structures for researchers and policy makers to engage, to create that time, to create that space, to create that capacity to co-innovate.